Have you heard that buzz? It's that noise often right above your head caused by what seems to be a fleet of unmanned aircraft, also known as drones.
Yeah, a lot of people have bought one, sparking what's projected to be a billion-dollar hobby and commercial services business. And some of these novice pilots are also breaking laws they may not even be aware of. In this Fox 7 special report, Rudy Koski explains the rules and shows us who is trying to cash in.
His first one arrived last year as a birthday present. Since then, Dutch Keppel says all his spare time has been spent flying his drone.
It's exciting, fun, and it's safe. And it gives me all the thrill of doing extreme things.
But Aaron Primo, another drone enthusiast, has noticed the air up there is starting to get a little crowded.
Definitely. Too soon, a little scary soon.
Before the Christmas holidays, stores stocked the shelves with aircraft of different shapes and sizes. Drone sales were big in 2016, according to the Consumer Technology Association. More than 2 million units were sold, generating almost $800 million in revenue. The association is now predicting drones will continue among the emerging growth industries. Sales are expected to exceed 3 million units and soar over the billion-dollar mark for the first time. The bulk of the sales are projected to be for hobby and recreational use. Gene Robinson, who's considered to be a pioneer in drone development, is not surprised.
This resurgence in aviation has been made available by technology, and I think the technology is going to expand the use of these unmanned aircraft, these drones.
The FAA last year finalized rules for commercial drone use. Those who want to cash in have to have a special pilot's license known as a Part 107. Now, since January, a little more than 28,000 licenses have been issued. Those who want to fly for fun, well, you don't need a license, but there are some very specific rules that must be followed. Here are the basic rules. Drones can't reach an altitude higher than 400 feet, go beyond line of sight, or fly at night. If the aircraft weighs a little more than a half pound and up to 55 pounds, it must be registered with the FAA. Airport managers must be notified if you're within 5 miles of an airport. Drones cannot fly over stadiums or over large groups of people like protest marches and rallies. But that's not all you need to know, according to attorney Jessica Palvino.
Texas was at the forefront of implementing drone regulations.
The Texas Privacy Act became law back in 2013. It has steep penalties for violating personal privacy, a Class C misdemeanor that can be enhanced with jail time.
In addition to the criminal penalties, if you violate someone's privacy, the person whose privacy was violated can sue you.
There's also a critical infrastructure law. It bans flying over dams like Mansfield, power substations, generation plants, water tanks, and prisons. But how about going to the beach? Taking some shots over places like the Port of Galveston. Lloyd Wright, who trains drone pilots, told me, think again.
That's not okay according to both state and federal law because a port is a piece of critical infrastructure. Not only that, there's usually several airports and heliports within that area as well that would require some notification.
Plans are also in the works to restrict the airspace above the Texas Capitol complex. So if you want to fly around the Capitol Dome, you'll have to get permission from the State Preservation Board. Anywhere else around the complex, you'll have to get permission from the Texas Facilities Commission. Austin police are also ramping up enforcement. Officer John Buell says a lot has changed in a very short time.
We had probably 1, maybe 2 calls every other month, maybe even 3 or 4 months without any calls. Now it's almost a daily thing.
Some of the calls have involved collisions with the Frost Bank Tower. And during a recent gathering of local pilots, Officer Buell talked about other downtown crashes.
We get calls of drones bouncing across the I-35. We even have footage of a drone crashing within 30 feet of a patrol car on a frontage road.
This is that dashcam video. Look to the right of the screen and you can see a fixed-wing RC aircraft nosedive into the pavement. It could have caused some serious damage.
And we'd have drones used for a criminal activity here in Austin. Some things I can't discuss, but for peeping toms and actually spying or used for surveillance. We have active cases like those.
The incidents prompted city officials to declare all of Austin a no-fly zone. That ordinance was scaled back in 2015, but there's still some confusion about where drones can actually fly. 2 areas in Austin are radio-controlled aircraft friendly. One is located along the north shore of Walter E. Long Lake. The other is inside Seawright Metro Park in South Austin. Both are operated by clubs, which require memberships. A pilot may not get arrested just for flying in an Austin city park, but there is still a park rule against it, so pilots can be asked to leave.
If they do come to a park for a nice picture, if they're coming there to shoot the picture, most of the times the picture is taken and the drone's landed and it's done, there's no issues.
Federal officials have also stepped up enforcement, especially after incidents like this drone crashing into Seattle's landmark Space Needle. It happened on New Year's Eve. In 2016, the FAA received nearly 1,800 reports of drones in unauthorized airspace and unsafe operation. The most recent enforcement action resulted in a fine of about $200,000. That's a lot to think about. But for those like Dutch Keppel who have been hooked by this new thrill of flight, all the hoops a pilot must jump through now are worth the effort. Rudy Koski, Fox 7 News.